This movie takes place in America during the 1950s and tells the story of Jack and Alice, a married couple living in what seems like a perfect neighborhood. They have everything they could want: delicious steaks for dinner, fancy cars, and beautiful homes. Other couples live nearby, and everyone gets along well. Every morning, Jack and the other husbands go to work somewhere in the desert, while Alice and the other wives stay home. The women spend their days cleaning, cooking, and taking care of their houses while waiting for their husbands to return. The wives don't know much about their husbands' jobs, except that it's called Project Victory. Nobody talks about what the men actually do at work. The neighborhood has two important rules that everyone must follow. Don't ask too many questions, and never go into the desert around the town. People believe that leaving their safe area could put them in terrible danger. In their free time, Alice's friends Bunny and Peg enjoy ballet classes and shopping at expensive stores. They used to be friends with another woman named Margaret, but she started acting strange and they stopped being close to her. One evening, everyone gathers for a party at Frank's house. Frank is the most important man in the neighborhood. All the husbands work for him. During the party, Margaret shows up and says something odd. "We don't belong here." Most people ignore her, but Alice feels worried about what she heard. Later, Alice watches Margaret's husband take her to another room and try to give her medicine. Alice wants to tell Jack what she saw, but he won't listen to her and acts like what she's saying doesn't matter. The next day while cooking dinner, Alice notices something weird. The eggs she's using are completely empty inside. This scares her, so she decides to take a ride on the town streetcar to calm down. While riding around, Alice suddenly sees an airplane crash high up in the mountains. Even though she knows it's forbidden to go there, she decides to check if the pilot needs help. When she reaches the crash site, she discovers a strange building shaped like a dome. As she tries to call for help and touches a window, she starts seeing things that aren't real and passes out. Alice wakes up in her own home and hears Jack in the kitchen. She's confused because her husband never comes home from work this early, and she can't remember how she got back home. When she asks Jack what he found when he came home, he doesn't give her clear answers. He says she was already there when he arrived, and doesn't believe her story about the airplane crash. From this point on, Alice's life becomes like a nightmare. She starts seeing things and having scary thoughts all the time. During a ballet class, she looks in the mirror and sees something terrible: Margaret's death. Alice decides she needs to talk to Margaret. But when she goes to her house, she arrives just in time to see Margaret jump off the roof. Men in red uniforms quickly appear and take Alice away from the scene. When Jack comes home from work, Alice tries to tell him about her worries and fears, but he doesn't believe her. He thinks she's making everything up because she's in shock. Jack insists that Margaret was just washing windows and accidentally fell. Dr. Collins, who works with Frank, agrees with Jack's story and gives Alice medicine to help her relax. While the doctor is there, Alice notices a paper in his bag that says "security threat" on it. Alice quietly steals the document to learn the truth, but she can't understand what it says. She starts wondering if she's really going crazy and decides she must find out what's really happening, no matter what it takes. At the next neighborhood party celebrating Project Victory, Alice realizes she can't stand being around these people anymore. She asks Jack to take her home, but he refuses because Frank is making him a partner, which is very important for his career. Alice becomes too upset to control her emotions and goes to the bathroom, where her friend Bunny follows her. Alice tells Bunny about all her suspicions and strange experiences, but Bunny doesn't believe her either. Bunny suggests that Alice should stop thinking about these silly ideas and go back to celebrate Jack's promotion with everyone else. A few days later, Alice and Jack invite their neighbors over for dinner, including Frank and his wife. While Jack talks with his friends, Frank comes to Alice's kitchen. He knows about her conversation with Bunny and gives Alice hints that suggest she's right about her suspicions. But she still can't figure out the whole truth. Shocked by Frank's honesty, Alice decides to confront everyone at the dinner table. She points out that most of the couples have identical stories. They went to the same places for their honeymoons and were even born in the same cities. Alice tries to make everyone see the truth, but nobody believes her. They all think she's going crazy, just like Margaret did. After all the guests leave, Alice begs Jack to leave this place with her. To her surprise, he agrees, and she starts packing their things. However, when they get in the car, Alice realizes Jack was lying. He betrayed her by letting the men in red uniforms take her away. Dr. Collins and his team give Alice electric shock treatment, which is very painful. During this torture, Alice sees memories of her real life. She discovers that she's actually a skilled surgeon who worked very long hours to earn money and support herself and Jack, who didn't have a job. Alice returns to Jack's house without remembering what just happened, but she still sees strange things. When everyone thinks she's better, Alice suddenly remembers the truth. Project Victory is actually a computer simulation that Frank created. Jack knew about this all along and forced Alice to become part of this fake world against her wishes. When Jack realizes Alice has discovered the truth, he tries to convince her to stay. He promises he did it for their own good, so they could live a perfect life together. Alice is horrified by this information. Jack explains that in this community, the men are responsible for forcing their wives to enter the simulation. The people here only seem real. Their actual bodies are unconscious in the real world, controlled by special devices. Alice wants to return to normal life, but Jack won't let her go and holds her tightly. To escape, Alice grabs a glass and hits Jack with it, causing him to fall down and die. Meanwhile, Frank learns that Jack is dead and sends his men to capture Alice. Alice has very little time because alarms are sounding throughout the town. Bunny runs into the house and tells Alice to escape quickly. It turns out Bunny knew about the simulation all along and chose to stay because she has children in this fake world that she lost in real life. Bunny explains that Jack died not only in the simulation, but also in the real world, which means no one can disconnect Alice from the fake world now. Alice must escape immediately because she's in great danger. As Alice walks outside in her bloody dress, the other men start to panic, and the women begin to suspect something is wrong. While Frank is on the phone, his wife Shelley decides to get rid of him. She wants to take back control of her own mind, so she felt she had no choice. Alice figures out that to return to reality, she needs to reach the dome-shaped building on top of the mountain. Alice gets into Jack's car and tries to escape while people chase her because they don't want her to return to the real world. If she does, they'll lose her forever. Alice manages to reach the mountaintop, but before she takes the final step, she sees Jack one more time. He begs her to stay, but Alice doesn't want to live in a world of lies anymore. Alice touches the window of the building, which allows her to leave the simulation and return to reality forever. This movie teaches us about the importance of truth and the dangers of living in a fake world, even if it seems perfect. Sometimes the hardest choice is choosing reality over a beautiful lie.